Splendid, splendid. Holy cow, boys and girls, look at what we have to start off the week with on a fine Monday evening. It is Stirring the Pot with Don Kincaid. You guys are in for a ride tonight. And my very special guest, simply splendid BobbyC. Welcome to Stirring the Pot, my friend.
You finally got it correct. You're one of the first to get my name straight. So
Hey.
I will commend you tonight.
Well, we're off to a fantastic start then, aren't we, sir?
Let's see what happens.
Oh, okay. Hey, if there's anything about BobbyC, boys and girls, if you don't know, we'll tell you how to find him later on. But if you don't know of one BobbyC, I'm telling you, he's a character. So we're gonna have some fun. Now, now how do I address you? Mr. Splendid, Mr. Simply Splendid, Mr. BobbyC. How do I do this?
That's the simply splendid one, plebeian. That's all you have to say.
The Splendid One.
The splendid one.
Wow, I'm down with that. Okay, so we're here with the Splendid One. Now, what we do on the show is we pull back the curtain. You don't have to if you don't want to. We can pull it back a little bit. But what we like to do is the fine talent that we get to see in the ring on the independent scene in our area. I like the boys and girls to check this out, and we get to learn. If you don't know who one BobbyC is, the Splendid One, you will. And if you already do, you'll appreciate seeing your man right here, your boy, as the kids say. So let's start right off because we want to learn about BobbyC. First off, I know there's a lot going on, so I kind of like to start with everything going on outside. Yourself, your family, your friends, your circle, everybody's good around you, my friend?
Well, we have people that are suffering with cancer, and I'd like you to be in their thoughts, like Eric Jaden, who's going through a battle with cancer, and my nemesis in Tennessee, Beto Blazing, is also suffering through a bout with cancer. I may not like him, but you know what? The Splendid One wishes no one that kind of pain and that kind of suffering. So I would ask all of you to pray for them. That's what I would ask for.
Absolutely, I agree with you. I know of one Mr. Jaden, and I'm always seeing his stuff on the face page. So I try to give a little good vibes and all of that stuff, you know. So our best to both gentlemen going through a tough time. Thank you for putting that out there, my friend. That's very kind of you. I appreciate that. That's very nice of you. So now, I don't know a darn thing about you. I've seen you at plenty of shows, let me tell you. We've run into each other, done a couple little Kincaid files, had some fun, if you will. Maybe I had more fun than you did. You don't really like me much, but that's okay. That's okay.
I don't like anybody.
All right, I'll take that. See, I've never taken it personally, and there we go, and that's why. Let's start off with the very evident thing that everybody sees when you walk through that curtain. The beautiful locks, my friend, that you bring to us out to the ring. I have been wondering, and as soon as you said yes to come on this show, that was going to be my very first question. What is with these beautiful locks that you carry around with yourself? You wear very regally, if I might add, the Splendid One. Please, what's going on here with these beautiful locks, sir? Is that all natural?
Everything I do is natural, and when you see the Splendid One, you are seeing regalness, splendidness. Everything we do is just nothing but greatness. We are not like your average group of people. Team Splendid is different from all the rest. We're authentic. We're different. We shine when we come out and we walk down that aisle to the ring. We don't wear regular colors, black and whatever. We sparkle. We're eye catchers. That's what we do.
Purple, the color of regal.
That's
royalty.
Right. We are royalty. We are royalty.
Mm-hmm. I see you come out. You're very bright for our eyes, like you just said, for our eyes to catch you. But I think the... Did you see what just happened there? You start talking junk about the hair, the beautiful locks, and Mr. Bobby, the Splendid One, his power somehow just kind of did something to this interview. I hope that does not happen again. I don't even want to know how you did that. First off,
Technical problems. I have no idea what that is.
all right. I think it had something to do with that.
Carry
but
on.
let's-
Carry on. Carry on.
let's get back to at the events, at the fun times we have. At times, your opponent will kind of pull those beautiful locks off your hair. I don't think they're el natural, but we love when
What are you
that
talking
happens.
about?
We love when that happens, but you seem to get quite triggered. This whole part, and I know I'm kind of staying on the beautiful locks, but it really gets us going.
No one has ever taken my natural hair off my head. What are you talking about? You can't pull this off. This is real.
I've seen it. Actually, there's a fan that calls you Ugly George. When
you had that, I will. Oh, I can't stand that person.
I love. I'm sorry, but I love when he calls you Ugly George.
I'd like to see him face to face one day. That little pipsqueak.
Oh, well, I have seen you at Test of Strength. Fine promotion. That's my home base right there. That's my home away from home.
I'm still waiting to go back. I'm still waiting to wrestle all over the New England area.
I would love to see you return. And that fan that I was speaking of, his name is Mr. Jim Kulik. He has been at Test of Strength, so you guys might run into each other. You never know.
I hope we do. I'm gonna have a piece of my mind for that.
You know where
I don't want to say anything that's out of line.
No, because you don't use colorful language. That's one thing.
No, I am proper. Everything I do is proper.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed that in your repertoire, if you will. Now, also, I want to talk about an event that was only happened once. It was GCW, Agawam, Mass. And that's where I really remember one Mr. Kulik giving you the key, if you will, with the Ugly George.
He distracted me, damn it, and I will not accept that again.
We had fun. Now, I'd like to talk about, I know this is about the Splendid One, and we're going to get into the Splendid One, but you've already talked about Team Splendid. Could you please, for us, the fans, introduce us to who Team Splendid is?
Well, you have myself, Simply Splendid BobbyC, the Splendid One, of course. You have Sir Fabulous, my tag team partner, and a big variety of people. We have our chauffeur, who comes once in a while. He needs to get on the ball because the last time we were in the Bronx, they stole our tires.
Oh man, that's not.
And I
that's
had
no
to take a stinky Uber back to my house. I did not like that too much. My mansion, I should say. We have La Luz, who walks us to the ring. Very beautiful woman. We have our life coach, Naya Kennedy. We have our bodyguard, Strong Style. If you've ever seen him before.
No.
The nephew of the late Bad News Brown.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow.
He's chosen to bodyguard us everywhere.
Huh.
Strong Style, Ron.
I've never seen him.
Because you will see him in the future.
Okay. I've seen you with Mr. De Niro often.
And we will have different beautiful ladies also walking us down to the ring from now on.
Okay.
Because it's only the splendid thing to do is to have some beautiful, classy ladies walk us to the ring. Or if I'm in singles competition, someone will walk me down to the ring, fix my hair, help me into the ring, and, basically answer anything that is called for.
Oh, hey, because, you're regal. I get it. You're regal. So anywho, I've noticed when you come out the curtain, you have the beautiful locks, you have the beautiful purple cape, you're in a purple singlet, wrestling boots, if you will, traditional black wrestling boots, right? Correct?
Correct.
But also to finish off this whole ensemble, if you will, you carry around this mirror, yourself and your tag team partner, but one of the mirrors is broken and the other one is actually empty. What gives?
How I might explain it to you plebeians out there, What I'm saying is I'm looking through that mirror and seeing all the dirt and all the uncouthness and all the unintelligent, especially the two rows at ringside, probably have 7 teeth and an IQ of 20. I like to see what I'm staring at and who's viewing us. And since I am so splendid, that my splendidness will go through that mirror and touch each and every person that's in that crowd. That's why I personally took the glass out of the mirror.
Okay. Wow. That was a little more involved answer than I expected. Huh. Very interesting. Now, how does one? Because I know you've been a singles competitor for a while, but how does one become a tag team? Why would you go to a tag team partner? Because I'm sure you were successful as a singles competitor.
Because I do it all. And remember, I started in the wrestling business as a tag team. Me and Eric Jaden were a tag team at one time.
Oh! What was it called?
We were called the Disrespectfuls. I was not splendid back then.
That sounds very fitting. The Disrespectfuls for you. Wow. Did you ever win any tag team gold with Mr. Jaden, my friend?
Yes, we did.
Oh, for which promotion or promotions? If you could indulge.
Wrestling Federation. We won the BWF tag team titles twice, and we wrestled legends everywhere. And this past year, Team Splendid has won 3 separate tag team titles. One of my own in Tennessee for Intense Championship Wrestling. SWF, which we are no longer a part of, we won those tag team bouts, and now we are the new age wrestling tag team champions. And we plan to collect more gold this year.
So right now, currently, Monday evening, Splendid, Mr. Kincaid, the Splendid One. You're telling me that right now, Team Splendid is currently holding 3 championships in 3 different promotions.
I am.
Wow. That's impressive, my friend.
One we're not a part of anymore, but no one ever defeated us.
True. Okay.
Number 2, I have a partner down in Tennessee, and I for Intense Championship Wrestling, who's my tag team partner. I don't really like him very much.
Oh, wow.
But unfortunately, they put us together, and we won the tag team belts down there. And then with the current New Age Wrestling tag team belts in 2020. So in 2021, I plan to double that.
Wow.
Even in singles championships for whatever company in New England that chooses to bring in Team Splendid or myself, the Simply Splendid One, BobbyC.
Now, I know you won't tell us your exact address and such, and I would never ask that. But I'm from Connecticut. Am I to understand you're from the New York City area, sir?
I originated in the New York City area, yes.
Okay. Now, the New York City area for wrestling, very different than up in here in Connecticut. I gotta
Without
say.
a doubt. Yes, you're absolutely correct.
We speak of the differences from fans to maybe environments, the way an event is run. Could you, because I love to pick the brains of the fine talent on the show. Could you please explain to us, the fans, what do you feel are some of the differences between, per se, a New York fan base and a promotion being run compared to a Connecticut?
Well,
I know
for me, I like to wrestle all over. It doesn't matter. New York City is a good place to wrestle. There's really, to me, no comparison. Most of the wrestlers you see up in New England, a lot of them ply their trade down in these parts.
Okay.
New York City and Connecticut, only thing you might have is you might have a couple less matches in Connecticut and faster shows. New York, you might have longer shows with a few more matches, but everyone does the same thing. And my opinion of wrestling, I would love to see wrestling come back to New York again, but with COVID, there's nothing going on right now. Nothing at all. Mm-hmm. My last show was last March, almost a year ago. I wrestled for New Evolution Wrestling at the Elks Lodge, one of the buildings where I constantly wrestle. And for that, we wrestled ECW's Pitbull, Gary Moore, and with Rage, and the current tag team champions there in a match last March. That was the last time I wrestled.
Wow.
Not last time I wrestled, but the last time I wrestled in New York City area.
Correct. Now, I know you've been in the game for a little bit. Could you tell us how long has the Splendid One been in the business?
I've been in the business since 2011. I started off humbly. I was actually a referee when I first came into the business.
But how did you address yourself? Were you Ref Splendid, or how did that come about? What was your name back then?
I didn't truly find myself yet back then.
Oh.
And I was simply just BobbyC. And then I became a manager. And I managed the precious one, Gilbert. If anyone knows who he is the current booker of the World Wrestling Council in the island of Puerto Rico.
Oh, okay.
And I was his manager here in the States. And I'm hoping to bring him back to the States this year, because it's been a long time since he's plied his trade here. And he is the precious one. I'm the simply splendid one, but he is the precious one. And we would make a good combo.
Sounds fitting. It definitely sounds fitting. Now,
tremendous, talented individual.
And now you start off as a ref. You kind of work your way up, if you will.
Yep.
Now, what was your first character? Because you said you were with Mr. Jaden as a tag team when you first started. So what was your first gimmick or your name, if you will?
I was just BobbyC De Niro.
BobbyC De Niro. Okay.
And I was part of Jaden, and we were the Disrespectfuls, and we traveled up and down the roads, different states. And then we went our separate ways. I teamed up with someone named Jack Sisko when we were the Disassemblers. And that tag team didn't really work too well. Great guy. I would never say anything negative, but we just didn't make any waves with that team. And then I looked in the mirror one day and I said, you know what? You are splendid. And that's how I became the Simply Splendid One, BobbyC. And it has worked.
So what we like to talk about the evolution of character, the evolution of a wrestler. You seem to have taken it on your own, feeling it wasn't working, and moved on, feeling it wasn't working, and again you've moved on and you found something that's comfortable for you. Now, is this something that, because they say on the show The Talent, they are being the talent, they say that it's easier to present a character that comes out of you naturally, that is kind of an extension of you, but kind of amped up for wrestling, if you will. Correct. Instead of trying to take a character from scratch, the gear and the whole 9 yards.
Well, we went from scratch. I started at scratch. Jack Sisko actually gave me ideas, and I ran with the character itself. Was me, all me. And I just added to the team to make it more. I started off as a singles competitor. I had a maid. I had Sir Fabulous, or Jeeves Lifshits back then, used to call him. I'm sure you remember that.
I do. That cracks me up every time. Yes, I do.
And then we just evolved, and he got the remember, my partner wrestled in the WWF. He wrestled in ECW. Who's one of the first ECW tag team champions with Chris Candido. He was the part of the Suicide Blondes in ECW when Eddie Gilbert was the booker. And a lot of people would say, oh, he didn't do anything in the business. Listen, he was there. He's done things that most people on the indies could never dream of. They were on television. Mm-hmm. He wrestled them all. Rick Martel, Ric Flair, The Undertaker, Kamala, Sergeant Slaughter. One of Sergeant Slaughter's first opponents, when he gave the gimmick of he kind of was the sympathizer, was Billy, and he whipped him from pillar to post all the way to the back. Wow. And a lot of people don't know that. And Billy was a major indie guy on the East Coast for a long time. I used to see, when I was young, I would see Billy at the indie shows. Never had no idea in my mind that he'd be a part of the team and we'd be together. But things happen, and strange things happen, and people that I used to watch as a young man on television I've been watching wrestling since the early 80s, very early 80s. I'm talking like 81, 82.
Mhm.
I'm in the ring with Greg the Hammer Valentine, Brutus Beefcake, uh, Tito Santana, the Nasty Boys, the Rock and Roll Express. That's just a few. Hacksaw Jim Duggan. I could go on, who I've been in the ring with.
Over this, the names as you go, you speak with pride as you're rattling off the names, because I know you take your craft very serious, sir. If there's anything that I do know about you, you definitely take your craft serious. And I've seen you in the ring with a lot of the indie talent. I haven't seen you in with a lot of the names as you've spoken.
Yes.
How do you get like into the ring with these legends in our business? I mean, is it something that the promoter brings to you and says,
Something the
"Hey,
promoter wants. The promoter trusts me.
okay,
And Gino Caruso for East Coast Professional Wrestling was one of those promoters that said, you know what? I'm going to put you in the ring with these guys. My friend Rocky King down in Atlanta, Georgia, another one, pray for him, and he's a kidney. That used to wrestle in the NWA. If anyone is familiar with him, he was basically an enhancement guy on WTBS and on their television. He gave us the Rock and Roll Express.
oh wow."
And it's just about being trusted. You know, no one's ever been seriously injured working with us, whether it was Jaden, whether it was Jack, or even now Billy. You know, we're pretty much old school all the way. When you're looking at Team Splendid, the 80s should be popping in your brain. That's what we are. And then to me, the 70s and 80s were the golden era of this business.
You know what? I'm gonna totally agree with you. From the very first time I see you come out through the curtain, the locks, the gear, the mirror, the mirror, you always have somebody walking you to the ring. That's something that's always happened back then. Very lost art of nowadays, with the valet manager, if you will.
Trying to
That's
bring
definitely
that back. I'm trying to
yeah,
bring back that old days. Playboy
very
Buddy
lost art.
Rose.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever watched old WWF when Playboy Buddy Rose was in the WWF, maybe about 83, if you really look at the people that walked them down to the ring, one of them was a famous diva, Sherry Martel. She was one of the women that used to walk Playboy Buddy Rose to the ring. We're bringing that back.
Again, it's a lost art as of late, and I love seeing it. There's an ensemble of the whole package, because we talk about it takes so much to present a package to us, the fans, and just anybody really. It's not just for us, the fans. It's for yourselves. It's for anybody else who's watching or whatever. But you guys come out. You know what you want. You're 1,000% in, and that's the thing, sir. You guys don't mess around. You're not halfway in. You are 1,000% in on this whole thing.
Remember, wrestling is visual. You could know 1,000 moves. You could know how to bounce around and pop the crowd, and that's the business now. It's like you're watching the same thing over and over again. And in my eyes, you have to be different. You have to visual. No one's gonna look at their phones when Team Splendid is coming out. They're gonna be like, huh? Especially people that have never seen us before. And and then in a couple of weeks I will be down in Tennessee applying my trade I'm doing a couple of shows for Beto Blaze and my nemesis down there for his cancer. They're gonna do a couple of things down there for him. And pardon me for 1 second. Let me
That's
just
okay.
get that. Something popped up on my screen.
That's quite all right.
All right. All right. Let me see if I get you back. All right, here we go. And down south where we've wrestled is more old school than up here in the Northeast. If you want to really make a comparison, you can never compare New York and Connecticut. If you want to compare, say, Tennessee, Texas, Georgia, places like that to up these parts, up in the Northeast, it's a totally different thing altogether. It's more old school down there than it is up here. Down there, that's what they like and that's what they watch. Up here is more of the acrobatic, flippity flop, which personally I don't like, but
Mhm.
to each in his own with their tastes.
Uh, Again, the evolution of a character. Along comes with that, though, is the evolution of wrestling, along with the evolution of the wrestling fan. And it comes in chunks, and you know it as well as I do that things change. But you know what? You're not the only guys out there trying to keep that old school alive. And I'll
There's a
tell you,
few of us.
oh, there's plenty there, my friend. There are plenty of you guys out there. So, you are definitely not, and I know you go down south and stuff, but and I only know a tiny sliver of the amount of talent that's really out there. But I see plenty of the guys trying to keep that old school vibe alive. So you're definitely not alone in that.
Yep.
Um,
Every match you see now is everybody has to do a dive over the top rope onto people, and to me, that makes absolutely no sense. In a street fight, you are not going to dive onto someone and they're going to sit there and catch you. You have five guys and they all fall down. To me, it just makes us look very silly and goofy.
uh, when the tope suicida started becoming a thing, it was like a specialty. It would happen once in a while with maybe somebody specific, but
Yes, now
not
everybody does it,
yeah.
and I don't like being a part of that, to be honest.
They're jumping out of a perfectly good ring, sir. Why are you doing Why are you doing that?
And I'm gonna sit there and stare at you and catch you. Right. You know,
uh, could I talk to, because we are going to be coming down to the tail end of this. I know you have some stuff to do later on. Um,
yes, it could be a late night for the Splendid One.
could I maybe pull the curtain back just a little bit, and I want to ask you one question about your personal life, if that's okay. If not, we can move on.
You can ask me whatever you like.
I've been wanting to talk to you, sir, because if I'm not mistaken, you've retired from a job that was very near and dear to you for very long. Could you
Yes,
please talk to us about that?
I was a New York City police officer for a little bit over 20 years. And to me, wrestling was the biggest outlet for me from seeing day to day stuff that I see out in the street. Between the wrestling world and my 20 plus years, I could probably write a book about my life. There's no stories I could make up because I've seen it all. And this is why I appreciate this business. I appreciate what I do. And as long as the fans are entertained by the Splendid One and Team Splendid, we've done our jobs out there.
Mhm.
It's nice to get out of reality and to sink into something that makes you happy. And that's why I tell young people, I tell people, even yourself, the fans, do things that you enjoy because there's nothing guaranteed and tomorrow is not guaranteed. And that's something that we all have to remember. You had COVID this year. The business, I personally don't think will be the same even when it comes back because a lot of companies probably went out of business. And it's going to be hard with all these new, who knows how this is going to work. Like me, I just don't, I can't see myself wrestling in an empty arena. To me, it's not the same. Team Splendid is about getting the people going. Who are we getting going? We just lost the edge. And I'm praying this year that things will change and hopefully everybody will open up. We were supposed to do a show for New Age Wrestling over the weekend or 2 weeks ago, but they wouldn't let them do it.
Right.
It's just be thankful for the small things in life. And that's what I share with each and every one of you out there that's listening. And now you're getting the serious side of BobbyC. Life is too short. And, like I said, I did 20 years, the most dangerous job in the world and the best police department in the country. I get offers left and right. And, I keep myself busy. I work. And, me personally, I'm licensed. I could carry anywhere. And that's why I could work anywhere.
Mhm.
And do things that mean something. Don't do things that are meaningless.
I have to say, when you did retire, I was stalking, I was following your face page, and you, my friend, were surrounded by so many peers. It was so heartwarming. I got to tell you, man, that was absolutely amazing. Seeing you with all your peers and all of that, that must have been just fantastic for you.
It's very rare my thing was I was very well respected. And to get a walkout, not too many officers get that. When you get a walkout, it's someone that's been there for 30, 40 years. Those are the people that get the walkouts. When you're at 20 and they give you a ceremony just for you, it says something about your character and the person that you are. And you always want to leave an impact on people, no matter what it is, you know. And now I'm speaking on a real note, you know. Yes, we're the character, but we also have lives. And you make the best out of everything you do. Those were tough 20 years, but I walked out alive. I walked out in one piece. I'm still in good shape. You know, we're not young doing this thing either. We're not. 49 years old. Billy's 60. All right.
Wait a minute. Wait. Your tag team partner is 60 years old and still doing what he's doing?
He's doing what he's doing, and he's in good shape, and I hope to be in the same shape as him. And that's why I tell guys, why do you want to risk yourself doing all this craziness? Yes. And look in the shape that we're in.
Wow.
Look at his shape. I could still do everything at this age, and he's like a fish in water.
Wow.
It's about longevity. It's about taking care of yourself. Man, not only physically, it's also mental, and that's something you gotta remember. Yeah, no stress, you will live a long time.
Absolutely. I've always said that and have learned it takes both of them. And I mean, just in life in general, but when it comes to being a wrestler, one of the hardest things to ever really do, to be honest with you, and to do it as a singles wrestler and try to make your name and get to that big plateau of the, wherever you want to be in that big plateau, because there's a few avenues now. It's just not the WWF or monetized shit, WWE. So I mean, so it's a hard avenue, but it takes the mental and the physical game to really put it together.
And I like doing the indies. I'm too old for the big game. Maybe if I was around 25 years ago, I've had old timers walk up to me like Kevin Sullivan, New Jack, the Gangsters, and just absolutely Phil Alfonso, that was a famous ref all over the place, loved the ECW. He was Fonzie, loved the gimmick. They love our gimmick. When Kevin Sullivan walks in the locker room and says, "Are you Ric Flair?" Which I'm not. And I said, "No, sir, I'm not Ric Flair." He goes, "Well, you're a cross of a lot of different characters." And he had a conversation with me, and he loved the characters as well as Mustafa of the Gangsters. Bill Alfonso loved it. So, we're bringing people back, and, we're basically a flashback of what was. And if the fans love what Team Splendid is doing, I'm happy. If you love us or hate us, as long as we've entertained you guys out there, we've done our jobs.
Before I let you go, is there any way, because you guys and girls, you get into the cars, you take the drives, or do the drives, I'm sorry, you do the drives. I know that there's plenty of chicanery going on, shenanigans, if you will, up and down the coast and across the Midwest and such.
Even I crossed the water. I wrestled in the Dominican Republic too, so that tells you something.
Could you please just share one road story of any kind that sticks out into your head that you could actually share with us that's maybe not illegal for TV or anything like that?
No, we never do anything illegal. Because, I just retired and that's not my style whatsoever. Those stories, so many of them, I don't even know where to start on that. But just the road trips with the guys, the jokes, the ribs, you falling asleep in the car and everybody's taking pictures of you and, and making fun of you. That's some of the fun we've had on the road trips. Or basically when I was in DR, my first run in the Dominican Republic, they stole my gear.
Oh.
And we found out later it was someone in town. And basically there was threats made. And my stuff showed up at this person's house in the Dominican Republic, and I got my gear back. And they're like, "Well, what do you want to do about it?" I said, "How about nothing? Yeah. I'm happy I got my stuff back. There's no reason to be mean and violent, or that's not me. I did 20 years on the police force being compassionate, and it worked. And you still got to be compassionate to people, no matter what."
Hey, what a fantastic message to end this beautiful conversation with one BobbyC. I know it started off a little rocky. We're having some fun, but we got to pull a little bit of something at the tail end. and I cannot appreciate because not all the guys and girls will let me pull the curtain back. So I appreciate you for letting me do that, sir.
Yes. But now we're going back to normal. I still don't like you. So, yeah. Carry on.
That is something. That is something that I do know. BobbyC, I know we're in a very kind of the Splendid One. I am so sorry. The Splendid One.
Get it right.
I know we're at a weird time. We've been talking to COVID and everything. But is there anything else on your schedule that you can maybe promote? And where can we find you on the face page and stuff?
February 27th for Colossal Championship Wrestling, Atlantic City at the Showboat. You will see Team Splendid in action. Come down. You'll have a great weekend. You get to gamble a little bit.
Wow.
I'm staying overnight. I'm going to try my luck with the quarter machines and the nickel machines, and we're going to have a good match. You could catch me on my Facebook, Robert BobbyC Semler, Semler. You could friend request. I friend request most people. You put stupid stuff up, I block you. Twitter, I don't really use. My Instagram, same thing, Team Splendid. I'm not really up on Instagram. I'm more on Facebook. But come down. That'll be our first show back. And then I will be traveling down to Tennessee in 2 weeks to do a show for Beto. And hopefully, like I said, this year, things will start to open up with wrestling. And I hope, especially up in New England, because that's where I'd like to play my trade. If any of you people are listening up in New England, any promoters are listening, bring Team Splendid. We will guarantee you get your money's worth with us, and you will have fun with us. And we want to apply our trade up in New England. Fans up in New England are great fans, and we would love to entertain them.
Heat magnets, promoters, they're heat magnets. I'm telling you, the crowd, whoo, they get them going.
Money's worth.
Well, the Splendid One, I wish you the best of luck on your couple upcoming matches. I'm sure you'll get the W. I mean, come on.
Most of the time we get the W unless we're cheated, but that happens. We can't always get the W.
Well, this has been a fine time with the Splendid One, and I cannot thank you enough for your time. We've got a lot going on. You're a busy guy. So again, thank you for talking to us, the fans, and just taking the time out of your schedule for sitting with us, sir.
You're very welcome. Everybody have a good night.
This, Sir in the Pot, with Donkey Kane. I'm getting confused here for a second. This is Sir in the Pot with Donkey Kane, and my very special guest, Simply Splendid BobbyC.
Book us. You won't regret it.